What is up, Light Fighters? Welcome back to the channel. This is Light Fighters Anonymous, the show where I do whatever I want in the name of trying to get you to come to some of our free, fine training events hosted 4 times a year. More information at lightfightersanonymous.com. But that is not why I've gathered you here today. You guys know that I am super duper bag autistic. I love tactical bags and pouches and military gear. And I have been waiting for this specific bag for a very long time. I am here to present to you the Crossfire Daypack Lid. Integrates with your Crossfire rucksacks. More about it after the intro.
Eagle 2, this is Light Fighter 1-1. How copy? Over. Contact!
Contact! 1-1, this is Eagle 2. Good copy. Send traffic. Over.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging through the intro. I am absolutely buzzing about this one. I have had this pouch for about a week, and I've gotten to go on a couple little walkabouts with it, but really don't have a full review for you today. This is still gonna be more of kind of a first impressions. My first general impressions of this thing is I like it a lot. I was very excited about it, but it's big, all right? But we'll break that down in a lot more detail here. First thing, let's just talk about the bag in a little bit of detail. So, what this is designed for is a day pack. This is a day pack designed to get you, I don't know, some amount of gear on your back, just like a little kid's backpack, into the field. And again, this of course will integrate with your DZ rig, without a patrol rig. It'll integrate with pretty much anything. It's got a lot of great integration on the back. And of course, it does come with straps. But what this is about an 18-liter backpack or day pack lid for your rucksack. You got 8 liters in the top main compartment, 10 liters in this bottom compartment right here. Both of them are kind of like triangularly shaped, if you will. You'll see that kind of when I fill them up, they'll have a triangular shape. And then that also gives you, when they sit on top of your rucksack, that gives you kind of that natural crest to your ruck. Also gives you this cool little kind of crevasse there where you can tuck large items, ponchos. You can see I've just got a piece of nylon webbing with some rubber bands stuck in mine. But that's kind of the overall design. On the other side here, you've got basically your very similar integration to the yoke system that's on your Crossfire CF1 backpack. I have one right here. Oh, don't lose my Claymore. So you'll see that very similar yoke integration to this Crossfire CF1, these little tab system. And that's what's on this. And I actually have mine stowed in this other third pouch, which is the dual access hydration pouch, which is on the back of this thing. So you'll notice you've got a nice padded, you've got padding here and padding on here that's built in. This one is removable, so you can get to it and remove it. But this one right here, you can put your hydration pouch in there and then you can route your tubes out either way. I just go ahead and throw the yoke system that I've got in mine. So guys, installing your yoke or your harness system, super easy like all Crossfire products. They use this really simple tabs. You just push it through and pull it like that. You can do it in just a couple seconds, and it's really easy to do in the field too. Easy to do in your garage, easy to do anywhere, and doesn't take any time. This is not the LTAS system. This is just kind of a tab system they use for a lot of their backpacks. A lot of their system runs like that. And then finally the bottom tabs. And then the other great thing about Crossfire packs is they put a lot of these little tabs and this hardware kind of everywhere. So I've got 2 little options here. Obviously one is for the integration system in my backpack, but if I wanted to put this there and switch that to a different side, totally allowed. Do it how you want, dealer's choice. So you'll see that got the yoke, got the harness on the day pack installed in a jiffy. It's really low profile, so I like just throwing it in there when I've got this thing integrated with my CF2 or my rucksack. But let's go ahead and dig into some of these main compartments. You'll see that on this top compartment here, you've got buckles that run all the way from the kind of the lower edge of this bottom pouch up through, routed through the LTAS and your MOLLE webbing, and again, all the way up top with 2 small, I think these look like 1-inch buckles. Might be a little smaller, I'm not sure. They're pretty small though. Once you get out of the way, you get these nice big clamshell zippers on this whole upper pouch, and you can get the whole thing open like that. That obviously exposes your contents here. I've just got some hydration tubes. Just get all this out of the way. In there. And then you've got a nice mesh pouch right in here which you can obviously, before I unzip it and spill it, you can flip it out of the way if you need to, just to get to this space back here. If you want to stow stuff in there, you know, just options. But unzips, nice big mesh pouch in here. I've just got some more hydration equipment, some of my Canna stuff, and more tops and adapters for all my bottles. I haven't really been using this heavily. I found out that it's basically so large that when I replaced my normal rucksack lid and I moved that stuff over to here, I don't have a lot to put in here. Bums me out when I can't fill my pouches, but that's a good thing, because when I go LARP or when I have a mission or when I do anything serious, I can always go start filling this stuff with like flares, smoke, marking equipment, you know, more radios, all sorts of stuff that you have to carry. You'll notice that from the inside of this pouch, you'll see you've got kind of a dangler right here, and that is your felt-lined or your soft-lined pouch you have access to from the outside right here. Small little zipper pouch, single zipper, and that gives you just this little bit of protected pouch. If you want to put iPro or anything that needs protection in there, I just got my little jungle antenna stuffed in there. Probably not the best utilization of that pouch, but just kind of where I stuffed it, because again, just moving stuff over from my old lid. That's the main pouch here, the top, I guess, if you will. And again, this is a 10-liter pouch. And although it looks a little bit bigger than the bottom pouch down here, it's not. At least that's what they say. So to get this bottom pouch, I like to loosen these straps a lot because there's no bottom buckles down here to loosen this crevasse area. So I'm just doing this so I can get access to this. You'll see that I've got this crevasse area on the outside, that's what I'm calling it. And it's got LTAS webbing throughout the side. And then you've got MOLLE on the sides. You want to put a small pouch on there. Into this pouch, oh, of course on the outside, as all Crossfire stuff includes, you've got your Velcro field, your little pull out and drop down reflector. I just keep my normal crap just loaded up on there. Again, big clamshell zipper, goes down the whole side. And then this pouch, with these straps, I find them to be, yeah, fucking in the way, but you get what you get, you know, because they're definitely needed to support the pouch's bottom end and support this whole pouch over the top. So in this guy, let me just start moving my crap. I've just got crap in here. The old light fighter signal panel from Swift Designs, iPro, a buzzsaw, a shemang. This pouch specifically has two Velcro pouches, smaller Velcro pouches, not Velcro, mesh pouches in the lid, in the top here. So I keep batteries in here. Not a whole lot of space, but just keeps things a little organized. One thing I'd like to note is this might not be the best place for batteries because they have a little bit of weight to them. And then this is on the outermost flap of like already something that's sitting on way far at the back of my rucksack. So it's creating that lever. So this isn't a great pouch to weigh a bunch of stuff down in. This probably is a good pouch to try to keep some lighter weight stuff in. However, it does have some, on that note, has some excellent webbing bands in here that are sized, I mean, just about perfectly to hold, I don't know, an AR mag or like 8 of them. Or like a whole Claymore landmine or something could just stuff in there. So you've got 4 of these bands right here at the back. They could hold radios. They're size, they're pretty beefy. This is like 2-inch, 2.5-inch webbing, and it's stitched at like 4-inch stitching. It's stitched for like an AR mag, if you ask me. And that's just asking for people to put, I think, probably a ton of heavy equipment in this bottom pouch, which is also, bottom pouch is 10 liters, top pouch is 8 liters. So this is actually a larger pouch. So if you're wearing it like just a backpack, I guess that's fine. It's gonna stay pretty close to your body. But if you're wearing it as your lid on your rucksack, that is now creating this big old hanger on the very far back, pendulum effect, if you will. That doesn't make sense, pendulum effect, no. But yeah, you guys get it. Just your fulcrum and angles and simple machines. You don't want your weight there in your rucksack. All right, guys, so hopefully that's been a pretty good look of this day pack as a whole. I'll run some B-roll. I ideally try and make a decent quality video so you guys can get some close-ups of this stuff. I do want to go ahead and compare this, just overall sizing, to like some of their other stuff. You'll notice that the CF, this day pack lid came out a little bit larger than I thought it was going to be. I'm not disappointed. It just will hold a lot of stuff, and it'll hold a lot of stuff in a kind of a precarious position on your rucksack. where you're gonna want some security if you've got a ton of weight in this thing. And we'll go into that when I integrate with the actual rucksack. But what I have here is a CF1. Don't mind this pouch or this pouch because I added those all on my own. But the CF1 here, with its expandability, without its expandability, this is a 12-liter backpack system, very small. So tight in here, it'll still hold, you know, plenty of big gear, like a big old Nalgene, and I'll hold like 3 or 4 of those in there if I really wanted it to. But small. Without this expandability of this kangaroo pouch, it really can't hold a whole lot, and that's fine. It's kind of a day pack all on its own. This thing, much bigger as a day pack. I like its overall sizing better. I'd be very comfortable taking this out in the summer as my primary rucksack system, even for maybe a 2-night event or something like that, especially if it's gonna stay warm, because you could get just a little bit of food in here and probably the clothing on your back is all you need. However, as a lid, this is pretty big. So you'll see that this is the old CF2 Crossfire 2 lid. Now, I'm not sure if the Crossfire 3 lid is slightly bigger, but I would imagine that the lids are probably very similar sized. But you'll notice just from looking at these two pouches side by side, this one is tremendously larger than your old lid that came off of your Crossfire rucksack. That is intentional. They wanted to give people a little bit more expandability. And also, unless you have the CF4 with stitching on the top, this thing has, you know, stitching all over it, so you can add pouches to this. You could put a baguette or any of their Crossfire suite of pouches on here. So your old lid obviously has 4 pouches, one in here. You got the double with the felt inside, and then you've got access all the way down to your bottom pouches that are all mesh through here. Great designed lid. My only complaint about this lid is it's just a hair small. I like the access. I think the design of it's very good, and it, you know, works as a lid to your rucksack very, very well. So A+. Onto this Daypack lid as a lid. Let's show you how it integrates here. I've got my CF2 right here, and traditionally the lid elements, I know this is going to be a little bit of a slop fest up here, so I got a lot of gear on a small table. Traditionally, the lid buckles up through these, like, I don't know, risers is what I'll call them. And they normally loop, these things go through these loops right here, and they attach right about here on my rucksack. So these come through this loop and up. But you'll see that mine are not through this loop right now, and that's because I've had the lid on there, and you need to do a couple changes. So that's where it attaches on the bottom. On the top, I've also done a couple different things as well to adjust kind of how it rides. I imagine, now you can take the straps off and stuff them anywhere you want or throw them in the trash can if you're not going to use this as a backpack, or just leave them on there and leave them in between your ruck. They don't hurt a thing. Right now I'm just going to leave them. But so normally your lid buckles are attached to your actual CF backpack, your CF series, through another one of those clip systems and this buckle. And it clips on right there, and you really don't need to cinch it down super tight because the lid itself cinches down pretty well. This one on this side is right here. So I'll pull it out. So what I've noticed, let me write this thing, is that. So this whole lid tends to want to sag back down on my ruck. So to fix that, I've tightened these buckles down all the way, and then I've actually rerouted them slightly. They were internal to the pack, like inside the webbing, and I've popped them down and out outside the webbing so I can just get them a little bit tighter. And I do that on both sides, again, and that keeps your lid, you know, right where it needs to be on your rucksack, much, much better. And then down to the back, you'll notice that even on the CF2, now the 3 it might fit better, the 4 it's going to fit real well, but on the CF2 it's pretty large. That's why I had to reroute out of these little loops to my little risers and my cinch straps all the way back here, and you'll see how much cinch I'm getting down out of that when, you know, this is my summer loadout ruck. I don't have a tent in here, but I do have, you know, a Ranger roll. I've got 2 warmth layers, like, I'm just missing food, really. There's water in here even, and I've got room for food in the day pack, shit. So that's cinched down pretty much all the way. I would take off on a ruck like this And then I would, if this thing was loaded with any weight, I would immediately start regretting it. So I'm gonna show you one other thing, one other hack to make this thing to ride just a little bit better. It comes down to the very top here. And this is another thing I love Crossfire for. I don't know if they did this on purpose, they might have. But I also just like thinking I'm really smart. Let me loosen this up just a hair so I can actually do this. There's additional tabs and hardware all over these rucks. And what I noticed that right here, where my backpack yoke clips in, if I take my backpack yoke off and stow it, because I'm gonna be using this as a lid, I'll lose that tab right there and I'll now gain access to it, which I'll now take this buckle off my shoulder strap and loosen it. This one's mounted through the rucksack. Gives me another tab of hardware right there to push through. Pull that, and I do that on both sides, but now, as you can see, that gives this Daypack lid an additional attachment to my actual shoulder harness system. So if I feel my Daypack lid starting to sag, I can pull this now and cinch everything up. And remember, the Daypack is attached to the bottom cinch straps on the butt of my ruck, so this is pulling the whole load tight and up close to your ruck. Kind of working like it's supposed to, kind of just a hack, but I find it works really well and it keeps your Daypack on top of your smaller size CF series. So if you got the 2, this little hack will keep your lid as a lid and not as like a backpack's backpack. You don't want that. But other than that, I do love this Daypack lid. It's a great little piece of kit. It gives a ton of expandability to your rucksack. As you can see here, I'm running a CF2, which is already in itself like a 50-liter system. I've got 2 full loaves on the outside, either side there, both full loaves. And then with this Daypack lid, I am broaching well over 80 liters of capacity if I want it. And if I can easily just, ditch the lid, switch to my other one, and then dump these full loaves, and I've got just a nice little 45-liter pack system. And again, without this lid, anything on there, it's a nice, light, great backpack system. So guys, shout out to Crossfire. I've been waiting for this Daypack lid for a very long time. I'm very excited to have it, and I will have more of a full review for you guys a little bit down the road. Again, it's only been out for a little bit. I know it's currently also out of stock right now, but the restock is coming. I think just check in a couple of weeks now. It's mid-July when this video is gonna be dropping. Early August, guys, be looking for that restock, but jump on it, guys. These are gonna go quick. People want these things, and it's a cool pouch. So shout out to Crossfire, they make great gear. Appreciate them as always, and I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, this is Life Fighters Anonymous. Shout out to your mothers. Kiss them, something else. Bye.